JD's and Letterman, welcome back to the show. Today's episode, M193 55 grain versus M855 62 grain. Guys, it's 2025. Ammunition is expensive. Every time you pull the trigger, oh my goodness gracious, it's 50 cents. So we need to decide which is going to be the best. We're going to put these two rounds head to head. We're going to talk about the performance of each of these cartridges, the penetrating power, the M193 versus 62 grain, which is going to penetrate steel harder, which is going to give us more precision, which is going to give us better groups. So we're going to shoot them two head to head. And then we're going to talk about the cost factor and which exactly you should be stockpiling. Let's start. Okay, to start off the penetration test, we are going to start right here at, like, I don't know, 15, 20 yards. We're going to use the 14.5-inch M4. We're going to get on my piece of steel that I have here. This is 3/8 AR 500. We're going to do the M193 and then the 62 grain. Now, this piece of steel here, yeah, we've done some testing on it before with some 30-06 AP ammo. Cuts through like Swiss cheese. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have 5 holes already through here. If we get any more holes through it, then we'll know. So I'm going to put all of these rounds right up here, upper thoracic area. So we're going to start with the 55 grain, and then we're going to do the 62 grain right here, roughly 15 to 20 yards. All right, boys, here goes nothing. Sayonara, Mr. Steel. Yeah, we didn't get anything through that. Let's go ahead and switch over to green tip 62. Okay. Let's go take a look. Okay. So over on the left side here, guys, we have the steel penetrator M855, and then we have the M193 here. There is zero difference. I mean, there's a tiny little divot where each of these steel penetrators hit, but also too, if you feel them here, there's also a tiny itty bitty little divot where each one of them M193s. So yeah, zero difference right here at 15. So we're gonna go, let's say, I think if I read it right online that they wanted this ammo, the M855, to penetrate Soviet armor helmets. So it's just regular thin steel helmets. I think somewhere around like 200 to 250 meters, if I'm not mistaken. So we're gonna start at 200 yards and we're gonna shoot through a steel car door instead. I don't always do drive-bys, but when I do, I prefer Badlands munitions. Code 110 SATS, you get 10% off all ammo. Check them out. Target's in position. Okay, so we didn't see much difference inside the range, so let's take a few steps back. We went ahead and we are set up at 200 yards here. We're gonna shoot through a car door. So I feel this round was designed for penetrating Soviet helmets at 200 and some odd meters, 300 meters. Well, the closest thing we've got is a car door. And actually, I think a car door is probably gonna be a little bit thicker. So we're gonna put a few rounds through it. We're gonna do some 55 grains, and then we're gonna do the 62 grains and see which penetrates better. So the gun we're gonna use for this is just your very, very basic M4A1. We're gonna start with the 55s, and then we're gonna do the 62. So let's put a couple rounds through. I'm gonna put 3 rounds through that car door. Okay, so now we're gonna switch over to the 62 grain. Let's put a couple holes in this car. What do you say, guys? Let's go take a look. Ooh, I see holes, boys. We haven't seen the back side of it yet, but we have 3 holes here. We have 1, 2, and 3. Let's look at the back side. Okay, let's see if we've got penetration, boys. Oh yeah, absolutely. It all penetrated. So we have 1 shot, 2 shot, and 3 shots. And then 1, and then 2 here, and then 3 there. So it's all penetrated, 55 grain and the 62, but I wanna see what the actual limits are. So we're at 200 yards. Let's back up to 3. Okay, so we're now at 300 yards. We're gonna start with the 55 grain here. I just hope I don't put one through the engine block. I hope that I can get it through the door. So here we go, boys, let's give it a shot. Okay, let's switch over to the 62 grain stuff now. Try not to put one through the motor block here, Cody. Come on now. Let's go see how bad we did. Well, the car's still running. So we got that going for us. Well, we got hits. All right, boys. So we have 3 here, and then we have 3 down here. And it looks like they're both kind of the same, but let's look at the backside real quick. Tires still got air in it, so that's good. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we have 3 exits here. We have an exit here, and also an exit here, and an exit here. So all shots. Clean, nice, pretty exit. So at 300 yards, guys, with a 14.5, M193 is penetrating this 2 layers of car steel. So you have the out skin, and then of course the indoor skin, and then you even have this door panel here, which isn't gonna provide much protection, but the 2 pieces of steel, yeah, it's penetrating through that, no problem. And we're at 300 yards here. So to be honest with you guys, like, as far as penetration goes, I don't know if they seem almost like exactly the same, because if you ever have to use this ammo in any sort of scenario that is not shooting paper or steel targets, and something is hiding behind a steel car door, 55 grain and 62 grain are both going to penetrate with no problems whatsoever. So I think we're good, guys. So now we need to talk about actual precision of these cartridges. So one of the most important things is going to be getting hits on target in really tight groups. Now, you can't expect super great groups from the cheapest of cheapest plinking ammo. It's just plain and simple, the same quality control, the same components, those match grade projectiles, the better powder. It's just not going to be the same. So I don't expect this stuff to shoot as good as your match grade ammo, but we do need to see which is going to be more precise, which is going to give us better accuracy. So for the gun that we're going to test this with, this is probably my most accurate AR-15. This is a Mark 12. We have a Douglas barrel in here, Colt parts. This is the gold standard, in my opinion, of what an accurate AR-15 should be. Let's talk about the fine details. We have a Douglas barrel in here that is a 1-to-7 twist. 1-to-7 is going to stabilize all your 55 grain projectiles, all of your 62 grain, all the way up to 85 grain. In fact, I've used 1-to-8 and 1-to-7 twists to stabilize everything from 55 grain projectiles all the way up to 85 grain projectiles. So the barrel itself, we're solid. We don't have any issues there. We are letting this gun cool down between each shot group. So we're going to shoot 10 rounds, let this thing sit for 10 minutes, let it cool down, get back to homostasis, get back to normal, let it cool down. And then we're going to shoot our next 10 shot group just to make sure that we get the most accurate results as we possibly can and throw out any outliers that could potentially throw the results of this accuracy testing. We've talked about the rifle. We need to talk about the ammunition we're using. For the 77 grain stuff, we're using Badlands munitions. That's going to be our base. Now, for the 55 grain and the 62 grain, I went ahead and got them from the exact same manufacturer. It's Lake City. That's kind of like the gold standard when it comes to military surplus style ammunition. So they're making good stuff here in the United States. I have found, and I've always gotten the best results out of the American-made stuff versus the foreign import stuff. So we've got Lake City head stamp on the cases, and then we've got the 62 grain M855, and then of course the 55 grain M193. So we're going to do 3 10-shot groups here. We're going to do 77 grain as a control group to see the real precision of the rifle. Then we're going to do the 55 grains, and then the 62 grain. Let's go ahead and get this started. So we have 20 rounds, 2 10-shot groups for each cartridge. So our control group, let's talk about that. As I said prior to this video, guys, this is a 1 MOA rifle. Like, that's the gold standard. 1 MOA is going to get you hits almost 100% of the time if you can call the wind out to 600 yards with a 5.56 rifle. And that's what we really ultimately just need, is just bangs on big steel targets long range. Okay, so for the 77 grain projectiles, we've got the target right here. We have a 1.1 MOA shot group and a 0.991 MOA shot group. So with these 20 rounds here, this gives us an average of just over 1 MOA. We'll call it 1 MOA because it's 1.04 MOA. That's solid, and that is extremely acceptable. So let's talk about the 62 grain stuff, the M855. The penetrator core, because of the way that the bullet is just made, inherently it's just going to be slightly more inconsistent. Now, that's not to say you can't make a 62 grain projectile with the steel penetrator core accurate, but inherently, because of the design of the bullet, it's just not going to be as consistent. First group, we have a 171 MOA. And the second group was 2.42 MOA. That gives us an average, a mean of these two groups of just over 2 MOA. That is 2.04. It's pretty decent. I mean, 2 MOA is going to be a serviceable round. You are going to get hits on target, but actually the 77 grain stuff is providing precision rounds on target twice as well than the 62 grain stuff. So it does okay. Now let's move over to the 55 grain stuff. This is all just regular Lake City stuff. Same with the M855. Now with this 55 grain stuff, I'm not gonna lie, this kind of impressed me. I was not expecting these kinds of results. So we have a 151 MOA shot group right here. We have a 1.257, which gives us a mean of 1.38. That's kind of impressive, actually. With the 55 grain stuff, I was really expecting over 2 MOA. And with the M855, I was expecting somewhere right around the same thing. But clearly we have a serious precision difference between 55 grain and that 62 grain stuff. And that's very important because the M855 is a little bit more expensive and you're paying for that extra material, which is that steel penetrator. And if we aren't getting good precision results out of it, then what's the point? Why pay more for a less precise, less accurate cartridge? That wouldn't make any sense. That's illogical, right? But so we've measured accuracy, we've measured penetrating power. Honestly, I think it's pretty safe to say that there's just no logical reason why you should be stocking the M855 over the M193 ammunition. I mean, for plinking, precision, and even penetration, there's just, the M855 simply just doesn't make enough sense. So we're talking roughly $10 to $20 more per case for the M855. We have an inherently less accurate, less precise cartridge. We've got groups that are 2 MOA versus 1.3, 1.5 MOA. And we've got penetrating power that out of a 14.5 regular basic M4, simply put, just it doesn't shine in any way. We're able to get through a car door at 200 and 300 yards and right up point blank range. It's doing nothing more to AR500 steel. So simply put, guys, there's no sense in stocking M855. You might as well just go ahead, save a little bit of money, and go ahead and get the M193. I think we have a more deadly round due to the impact and the yaw and the tumbling factor versus the M855. We have absolutely positively proven that it is a more precise round and it's cheaper. So, boys, with that said, get you that M193. So treat yourself, King. And like always, say it with me, JD's and Letterman, run your gun, not your mouth. We'll catch you next time.